Welcome to Conspiracy. I'm Sammy,
And I'm Taylor.
and we're here to unpack and analyze the world's best conspiracy theories. So buckle up and let's jump in. So yeah, we're back. We're at it.
It's
How are
been a
you?
while.
I know it has.
It's been a month.
So we've just been going off of banked episodes for a while now, but
Yeah. Had surgery, so couldn't talk for a couple weeks.
she had tonsils taken out. It was an interesting dynamic.
It wasn't enjoyable. I would not recommend it. Maybe if you were like a kid.
Yeah, I feel like as a younger age, it's
Ugh.
not as bad. Once you get, for everybody, she's 27. I know, old.
It was hell. It was absolutely hell.
It's definitely a healing process.
And not that I felt like my surgeon lied to me, but I feel like there was a little bit of a lie because they're like the worst days are days like 1 to 3. And like days 1 to 3 was kind of like, oh, you just have really bad strep throat. By day 9 and 10, I was ready to die.
Yeah.
But that like nerve pain that they never warned me about, yeah.
I'll just live with mine. I've never had an issue with my tonsils though, so
Yeah, but I've had strep throat every year since kindergarten. And
I don't envy that.
I've had mono twice in my life.
That's crazy.
And I'm also not sleeping because my tonsils are so big that I snore.
Because he was out there smooching everybody.
No.
It's
I
the
can assure
kissing
you that
disease.
the 2 times I got mono, there was 0 kissing.
Everybody, she a player.
Oh, far from it.
She's a runner. She's a track star. She gon' run away with your heart.
I'm leaving that in so they can hear you sing.
She can't take the pain because she's crying hard.
Okay, that's so...
After the surgery,
Oh
yeah,
my
you were
God.
crying.
There were some tears.
She
That's
cried
not
a
lie.
lot.
It was
It's
emotional.
okay. We're through it. We're past it. And we're
was
ready to jump into a
horrible.
new episode.
Yeah, after a month of nothing.
We be coming back at you with a pretty good topic today.
I'm excited.
So today's, I just said so.
It's
Today's
fine.
topic is going to be something that baffled the world.
Am I familiar with the topic?
You know it.
I do. Do I know like a lot about it, or have I just heard about it?
I mean, you know when this happened because we were alive when this happened, and we were kind of like,
Okay.
how the hell?
Okay, like last 5 years,
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what year. 10 years.
10 years.
It happened in 2014.
The flight that disappeared from
Ding,
Mal-
ding, ding!
Yes, I never thought I'd get it, but I'm like, what has happened that has been so big?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone was wondering how something this monumental could happen in today's society. We're going to dive into the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
I literally the other day saw a TikTok about this where it was like a video surveillance of this plane taking off, going the last time you ever see it, and it's so sad.
I just couldn't imagine being a family member of somebody that was on it,
Yeah.
and now they're just gone and really have no explanation as to
Yes.
why or how.
Yeah. The not having an answer would fuck me up.
It'd be really, really tough.
Yeah. And the people
I mean,
that
I
had-
remember when this hit news and it was like, yeah, a flight disappeared and
and we all kept sitting there like,
we
don't
think
worry,
it
it's going to show up.
crashed. We think it's here. And
It was taken over by hostages.
Yeah.
It's in the water.
Well, I'm like, why would you-
emergency landed.
why would you take it over by hostages just to crash it?
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Well, then I know that there was like, there was a hostage situation where they landed it in like a hostage camp.
Yeah.
And like there were so many different things out there, and I'm like, I don't know what's true. I'd like to think honestly that it's at the bottom of the ocean.
I mean,
And
because
that-
for those people that were on it, I wouldn't want to be taken hostage. I'd
Yeah.
rather just because, torture is going to ensue and
Yeah.
you're going to be held as ransom and all kinds of crap. It's just not worth it. I
At
would
that
rather,
point, nosedive me into the ocean. End it fast.
because it would have been fast.
Because my thing is like, okay, if he tries to land it gently in the water, you're drowning slowly.
Well,
'cause
or a shark's going to eat you because they were
Some-
literally in the middle of
Nowhere.
the abyss.
Yeah. So like, if I'm going down and there's no saving me, fucking nosedive it to the bottom of the ocean. End it quick.
But then I'm like, what was even the point? Except for just mass casualties.
I
you know?
But when you sit there and you think about it, it's like, okay, pilots, I would assume, know, like, we're going to survive this or we're not. Like, you would think.
I mean, especially from, like, if you're taking it from 30,000 feet
Yeah.
straight down into the you're going to just explode on impact.
Yeah. But I'm also like, did the pilots know and sit there and be like, do we tell them? Do we not tell them?
And, like, did they know it before they took off?
Like,
Or did they get
yeah.
taken over during? So we're going to explore a
Ugh.
little bit of
It's so
a
upsetting.
little bit of everything, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's sad.
It's so sad. I can't imagine.
Yeah. The disappearance of Malaysian Airlines International passenger flight occurred on March 8th, 2014, when the Boeing 777 Did you say 777 or did you say 777?
I say 777.
Okay, that's how I would say it.
I think
but
in the pilot community, they literally say each number individually.
Okay, so it was the Boeing 777 that was flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia to its intended destination of Beijing Capital International Airport in China.
Okay, that's not that far.
No, like it was a kind of like a hop, skip, and a jump flight.
Yeah.
It was a pretty quick one.
I didn't know. I thought it was like a huge flight, like going across oceans to
I
a
mean,
different.
from Singapore to China, it's primarily land that they would be flying over. There were sections of ocean because you kind of fly like towards India.
Okay, but even then, you would think that like they would have been close enough to land that we would have found them.
Yeah, that or they would have been able to like detour to land and hit some land,
Something.
but they probably didn't want to crash on land if they were going to crash.
Oh, good lord, that makes it even worse.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't know that.
There was a total of 239 passengers aboard, 12 of which were crew members, making this the deadliest incident involving a Boeing 777.
I just want to show my pilot knowledge here for a second. When you talk about people on a plane, you normally don't call them passengers, you call them souls. Just thought I'd let you know.
That's stupid.
How many people are on there?
239 souls were
Thank you.
present, and there were 12 crew souls that were present. Just
I don't
sounds
know
weird.
why. Every time you watch like a pilot documentary, though, they always call them souls, and I don't.
Is that because they're dead?
Maybe that's why. But then again, I've watched documentaries where they talk about people that have lived, so they've. I just don't know if that's
Okay, they're just referred to as souls.
a term, but
All right.
I'm just so smart because
You're amazing.
I'm gonna be a pilot someday.
It's just so expensive,
It is. I want to do it so bad.
and
though.
unless I'm gonna like charter some jets, I'm not gonna.
Oh, bitch, let's do it. I'm waiting on you.
Until I have some money. No.
Oh, whatever.
The flight's last communication with air traffic control happened only 38 minutes after takeoff when the plane was over the South China Sea. It was after this event around 1:22 a.m. that the plane completely disappeared from ATC, which is air traffic control radar.
Okay.
However, the plane was still visible on military radars, what we found after the fact. So after we kind of like started researching and going, holy crap, where'd this plane
Yeah.
disappear to? They looked at any form of radar that was out there and they found that it was still on military radar present, that we could see it.
That's weird.
So it disappeared off air traffic control one,
Yup.
but military could still pick it up.
Which it to me is weird because when you disappear off one traffic control, you always normally reappear on the next closest one.
Correct.
It's like you ping to it.
Correct.
But I never knew that they went military
It's
and
kind
they
of
were
like
able to.
cell towers. If
Yeah.
you leave one cell tower
Yeah.
area, you pick up on a different one.
But I never know that they went back and found it on military.
Yeah, so they found it for a little bit on military radar. And
Okay.
it was this radar monitor that showed the plane changing course and heading away from its original northeastern course and started heading west, crossing the Malay Peninsula.
Okay.
It then continued on that course until it left military radar at approximately 2:22 a.m., about an hour later.
So it was going in a completely different direction for an
For
entire hour.
hour until it disappeared off the military radar. So it probably continued in another direction, headed over the Malay Peninsula for
Okay.
longer than that, but we only saw it for an hour until it dropped off.
Makes me think that it was hijacked.
Well, I'm like, why would you all of a sudden totally switch course? Totally.
Like that's
Because
complete
you were
opposite
going
direction.
completely. Which direction? Hold on.
I thought you said southeast.
Original northeastern.
Northeast. Okay.
Northeast course, and then we started heading west.
That's like complete.
So I mean, we totally do a whole U-E.
Yeah. Like no, there's no reasoning for it that I could think of.
So it started heading over that at 2:22 an hour later, and it was headed over the, I'm gonna butcher this, Andaman Sea.
Okay.
Andaman Sea. It was later, after the search for Flight 370 began, it was discovered that the plane did show up again on a secondary surveillance radar as it extended its trip over the Strait of Malacca.
Shut up.
So it showed up again after it got off of the military radar. It showed up on a different one, and then after further analysis, it was determined that the flight had to have continued until at least 8:19 a.m. So mind
Holy
you,
shit.
we saw it at 2:22 a.m. when it dropped off the radar headed in the west direction.
Okay.
Now it's 8:19, which is 6 hours after it was last seen on radar.
So it flew another 6 hours and was picked up again.
Correct.
I never knew any of this. This was never really public knowledge on the news.
It was kind of buried.
It was very like, we lost connection. It's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that it got picked. Do you know when it was picked up at 8, whatever time in the morning? Was it military or like a different?
I think it was back on the normal radar, but I don't know
Okay.
that for sure. It was
Okay.
some form of radar that it was picked back up on. I don't know which specifically.
Gotcha. And can you tell me, I know you said it, where were we flying at 8 in the morning? Where was it being pinged in?
Just now?
Yeah, at 8.
I haven't gotten there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the new radar discovery showed the plane. It was flying south over the southern Indian Ocean. So researchers are
Okay.
really unsure of where the final destination would have been.
Yeah, it almost sounds like
because
it went in a circle.
They're basically in the middle of an ocean at the moment, and that's 6 hours later.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. So they did an entire UE, kind of came back, was headed over the Malay Peninsula. Now they are in the southern Indian Ocean,
Okay.
just kind of chilling.
What the fuck is going on up there?
Yeah.
Did the pilots just go, oh my God, I forgot how to fly a plane?
I don't think it was the pilots.
Okay. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But my thing's like, eventually you're gonna run out of gas
Oh,
because a
100%.
Boeing 777 only has so much gas allotted to it.
And like they weren't expecting a long journey, so
They were expecting a hop, skip, and a jump over to China, and here they've been in the air for what has it been, like 8 hours now?
oh good lord.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Mhm.
That leaves an icky feeling.
So that was at 8:19 in the morning
Okay.
that they were still in the air over the South Atlantic Sea.
Can you
or
remind
Southern
me
Indian Ocean.
what time was takeoff? Was that 2 in the morning or 11?
Takeoff was, hold on, I don't know specifically what time takeoff was, but 1:22 a.m. was when they completely disappeared from air traffic control, which was about 30 minutes after they took off. So probably around like 12:45 in the morning.
Okay. Good lord.
Yeah,
Okay, so we've been flying for 8 hours. We reappeared, and then we disappeared in the Indian Ocean.
correct. So
Gotcha.
Southern Indian Ocean was the last place they were seen on radar.
Okay.
And we were unsure of really where their final destination was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, at
'cause
that
they're
point,
really in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
It was around 5:30 p.m., so later that same day on March 8th.
If you tell me that this fucking plane is still in the goddamn sky.
No. So it was the same day as the disappearance, the Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center, or ARCC,
Mhm.
activated a search and rescue effort for the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand,
Okay.
which was the area where Flight 370 lost contact with air traffic control. And it was at 7:24 p.m. Malaysian Airlines issued a press statement saying they lost communication with Flight 370 around 2:40 in the afternoon.
That is so sad and
Yeah.
terrifying.
So, mind you, they said originally that they lost communication with them at 2:40, which they later corrected to 1:30.
Which that seems a little sus to me too.
Yeah, of
Wouldn't-
like, was there more going on?
My thing is like, you don't get a detail
And
like
I'm
that
sorry,
wrong.
I need to correct myself. It wasn't 2:40 p.m., it was 2:40 a.m.
Okay,
So it was
gotcha.
2:40 a.m. They later corrected it to 1:30 a.m. So mind you, they took off at 1:22 a.m. They
Okay.
disappeared from radar. At 1:30, they say they lost communication with them.
It
So
seems
8 minutes later, they lost
it's-
communication.
It seems bizarre to me that they made that mistake only because
There was a lot of mistakes on their end where we'll kind of talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about things that they, I don't want to say lied about, but kind of changed the truth
Okay.
and told partial lies.
And I'm sorry, in a situation like this, it makes you look bad.
It makes you look guilty.
really guilty.
And I'm like, they're because no plane or airline wants a flight to go missing because
Oh,
it just
God,
makes
no.
them look horrible, and nobody's going to fly you for a very long time until you
Yeah.
gain their trust back.
mm-mm.
It's only going to hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this all happened on March 8th. It's important to note that on March 8th, after the passenger manifest had been released, so passenger manifest is like a list of all the passengers that were on the plane and
Yeah.
who should have been there.
Okay.
Austria and Italy confirmed that 2 people listed on the passenger manifest were not actually on the flight.
What the fuck?
So like their names were on it,
Okay.
but they were like living in the country and having no problems. They were there. They did not die on the plane. There is no notice of them being on the plane. It's just they were on the manifest. So their names somehow got on the list.
Did they just fucking randomly go on Facebook and be like, Mike from Sweden, you're on, like, what?
So they were not actually on the plane. However, both men's passports had been stolen in Thailand within the last 2 years.
Okay, that makes sense then. But then again, okay, maybe it was a good thing this plane disappeared because their passports, they're probably not great people.
Yeah. It was later determined that they were Iranian men who were likely migrants attempting to emigrate to Germany.
Oh, so nothing super bad.
Interpol was pretty adamant that it was not a terrorist incident.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. Because I
So
was
they
like,
did not think that they were doing it in any malicious efforts. They were trying to just use
Escape
somebody
a bad
else's
situation.
correct.
So
and
they
just trying
stole.
to get out.
Okay.
So not that stealing is good, but like they were trying to do it in a non-malicious way, trying to
Yeah.
get safe.
But my thing is like, okay, if I lived in Iran or Iraq, I'd get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good lord.
Yeah, so they were trying to go to Germany.
Okay.
Iranian men.
Trying to have a different life.
Hopefully a better life, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad it wasn't like anything bad.
Where it was probably, oh, these 2 men did it.
You always hear the terrorist attacks, and I'm like, I would want to get out of that situation. But at least
I wouldn't
it
want to live
wasn't,
in there.
wasn't like a 9/11
No,
all over.
no.
Oh, thank God.
Australia eventually took charge of the search on March 17th. So we're talking, it happened on March 8th. So we are, 9 days after?
Yeah,
So Australia took charge of the search on March 17th. After the search effort looked to be focused more on the southern Indian Ocean. So it's kind of more their jurisdiction.
Okay. Or did they take it over because they were like, you're fucking this up and you're not doing a good job?
No, because there was other people searching. It's just, it started kind of trickling more towards them. So I think they thought, oh, we'll help out. We'll start searching our areas and hopefully find you something.
Yeah.
They were the first to conduct aerial searches. So they were using planes, helicopters, all kinds of things over the oceans to try and find stuff.
Why were we not doing that soon? That's day one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, shit sinks. Get in there before it's fully gone.
Yeah, I know. You got it, especially like if it crashed. But they were the first ones, and mind you, this was March 17th.
This is what, 10 days later?
That they started conducting aerial.
Yeah,
about 8 days.
9 days. Oh my god.
Yep.
That is a lack on China, whoever fucking did the first search, that they fell through on that.
Yep. So it was on March 24th. So we're talking almost like
16 days later.
Yep. The Malaysian government stepped out saying that based on the satellite communications, it was more likely that the plane did not land anywhere and instead probably ended up in the southern Indian Ocean. So they're kind of ruling out that they landed anywhere on land.
Okay.
They think that more than likely they went down over the ocean and they're somewhere in the ocean.
What a horrible death.
Yeah.
Even if I'm like, I know I'm dying and they're nosediving it and it's going to be quick, still horrible death.
So it was from that, March 24th?
Okay.
From that point on, a comprehensive survey of about 46,000 square miles of the ocean, which was eventually revised to 118,000 square miles.
That's a big difference.
That's a very large part. That's more than doubled. Miles of the seafloor, they began searching. So it was about 1,100 miles from Western Australia. That's kind of where we're placed, a little bit off of Australia.
Okay. Coming in towards India.
Correct.
Okay.
Toward west. Several merchant ships joined the search as well. So now we have ships physically on the ocean helping out. We have aerial. We have kind of everything going right now.
Yeah.
But again, we're also 16 days after the crash. So stuff has sunk. Stuff has waded away if it was there to begin with. The survey took from October 2014, happened in March.
Oh my god.
So it happened from October 2014 to January 2017. 2017.
Yes. 3 years?
Yes.
What is the point? You just waste. Oh my god.
So, I mean, it wasn't a full 3 years, but it was about 3 years that they were doing this. And hunting and searching. And mind you, if I was a person who had a person, like a family member or somebody on this plane, I'd be like, get your ass out there and start hunting. There's no way.
But my thing is, like, I would have been like, day one.
Why aren't we doing something?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, we sent a boat out. Get a chopper in the air.
Yeah.
Do something.
Go look now while there's probably still something out there if they did crash and see it.
That was the biggest mistake, is they did not have stuff. They didn't have surveillance in the air.
So after those 3 years, after which no plausible evidence of the aircraft was found, on July 29th, 2015, so we're kind of in the midst of when they're still searching because they searched from October 2014 to January 2017.
Yeah.
July 29th, 2015, there were several pieces of marine debris that washed up on the coast of Africa, a couple of the islands off that same coastline. Now, these pieces were confirmed as pieces of Flight 370.
How can they confirm it?
So they were like shot for shot. There was pictures. They are identical pieces of that plane.
So
there was a couple of like the turning mechanism, a couple of the, when you look at like a plane,
the flaps,
wing, the flaps were a couple of the things that washed up. So there was a couple things that were distinctly from a Boeing 777 that they assumed was from Flight 370. So there wasn't any distinct markings that were from that specific plane, but it was a Boeing 777.
Okay, so it came, and the thing is, how many other Boeing 777s went down in the ocean?
Correct.
That's okay.
But the big thing is, it's such a small amount of the aircraft to have only found those few pieces.
Especially because those they're massive.
And my thing's like, the seats float.
Yep.
Tons of things float in that plane. It's hard to believe that all of it sunk.
And didn't eventually come up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because eventually stuff would bob to the surface.
Yeah, certain things eventually, yeah. I mean, even then though, let's say, because most times you hit on impact, even if he landed it nicely, that plane I would think eventually might crack in half. I would hope, maybe think.
I don't think it would.
But
you might lose a wing.
But
a plane's not that large. It's not like Titanic where it's gonna crack.
Okay, then different theory or different route. We landed safely to the point where people are still alive in this plane. We didn't die on impact. My first instinct is get the fucking door open and get me out of here. Human bodies will bob and bloat. So like,
Yeah, but then did they get eaten?
I think eventually they would, but I don't think every single 200 some people were on this.
But it was 2015. Or you're saying if
I'm
they
saying
would have got chops in the
immediately.
airs right away?
If they would have had choppers in the air, I would think within the first 10 days, you're going to see a body bobbing somewhere.
But my thing's like, okay, they crashed. Somebody probably had blood somewhere.
Oh, 100%.
So then that's going to draw animals to the area, and it's going to be a bloodbath, and people are going to get eaten really, really fast. Will there be any evidence of human bobbing to the surface? They're probably going to be the ones that are going to get eaten because they're meat. Mind you, I know animals really aren't after human lives, but
I just feel like something, we should have seen something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the plane washing up, I think that could be very solid evidence as this plane did go down in the water.
Or at least, like, there's pieces of it. But my thing is, like, to only have found, like, a max of, like, 10 pieces of an entire Boeing 777, that's a huge-ass aircraft.
Yeah.
How are we only getting that little?
But my thing is, and I don't want to spoil anything in the future because maybe you have a theory on it, but, like, were they planted there?
I don't have any theories about that.
Because, like, okay, maybe the plane was hijacked and Malaysia's going, okay, yeah, no, it's down in the water and it was hijacked. It got landed somewhere, and years later, these mysteriously come up on the coast.
Yeah.
And like you said, they weren't big pieces. Kind of like little, like they sprinkled.
Like small bits and pieces. Like the pieces, the flaps on the wings.
Yeah.
Like they aren't huge.
They sprinkled enough to be like, okay, here's some closure. And now we can move on. Closure. Oh, look at these plane pieces came from that kind of a plane.
Yeah.
Like maybe giving closure, but really something darker is going on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's a possibility.
I'm coming up with my own conspiracies.
Wow, we're amazing.
I'm so fucking talented.
This is going to lead us into looking to a few different theories as how such a massive plane could have disappeared into thin air.
Let's go.
The first theory looks into a possible murder-suicide by the pilot.
Which, holy God, terrible and terrifying.
Yeah. When representatives from Sky News spoke with several high-ranking Malaysian officials, they believe that veteran pilot Zahari Ahmad Shah deliberately downed the jet.
That's so sad.
Yeah. John Cox was a top aviation safety investigator and retired pilot, and he stated that by looking at the flight plan on the radar, it was evident by investigators that the plane had been commandeered by one of the captains. So he took over and flied it manually.
Okay.
Because most planes have like a track, and then they're on it for their whole flight.
Yeah.
And they're like there to
it's like autopilot.
Put it up, put it down. But someone commandeered the plane.
Okay.
And they think it was by one of the captains, because obviously they're the two people in the cockpit.
And would know how to take control.
Correct.
Because I'm sorry, most civilians aren't going up there and being like, oh, I can fly this plane. Like, okay.
Yeah, most people aren't going to take over a Boeing 777. That's a pretty big plane
great
to take over.
Yeah.
He went on to say that based on the route that the plane went on with all the respective turns, it would have needed to have been flown by someone with expert knowledge.
Okay, so it would have had to be a pilot.
Someone that knew what they were doing.
Okay.
Cox continued explaining that the aircraft's data link system could have been disabled by Shah, as he was the only one on board who had knowledge and experience to be able to do it.
So shutting down communication.
Correct.
That's really fucking shitty.
If it's true, yeah.
But my thing is, okay, he shuts down they came up on radar, not communication.
Correct.
Never mind. Okay.
So
I was going, but they came back up.
Because I think you can shut yourself off of radar.
You can. It's called radar. I believe you can still ping it on radar, but they have a thing called a black box, which is communication systems.
Correct.
And I know you can turn that off. I think radar, you don't have a choice.
Because it's like tower signals on your phone. Like, you're going to hit them.
Like, I think it's like within the plane. Like, you are pinging on radar no matter what.
Correct.
But black box communication can be shut off.
Well, and then maybe shutting off the communication is what shut them off of the air traffic control one, and that's why they were still picked up on military.
And at that point, if the person flying this plane who commandeered it, at that point, he's probably not even thinking because he's not in his right mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I believe black box can be turned off, but radar, you're pinging no matter what. That's why, like, as cheesy as it sounds when you watch, like, Top Gun, on military radar, you can see approaching planes that are, like, bad guys, essentially.
Correct.
Because, like, you ping on radar no matter what. Like, that's
even if you don't want to be.
Yeah, it's like a technology you don't turn off.
If you're an intruder on somebody's airspace, you don't want them to know you're there, but you're still going to show up.
Yeah, radar is something that you don't turn it off.
Yeah.
So
So do we think Shaw disabled the system to follow through with his murder-suicide plot?
My only thing with that, I mean, I could see it. Do we know, did he have a history of mental health? Was there any record of that anywhere?
I didn't see anything on there
Okay.
about him specifically.
Okay.
Um,
But then again, sometimes the mental health are the most quiet.
yeah,
Like they have issues and they don't talk and you don't know until they're on a plane commandeering it,
true.
which is sad.
So, I mean, there was really no conclusive evidence that this is specifically what occurred. With several high-ranking Malaysian officials backing the theory, I find that this theory really can't be ignored, though. So, like, you still have to
Yeah.
kind of like
I think
entertain the topic.
I think it's very realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that it comes down to that because my thing is like, okay, if you're that unhappy,
Why are you killing a whole plane full of people?
over 200 people, really? You couldn't, I mean, as horrible as it is, you couldn't have just done it yourself?
Not people, souls.
Souls, sorry. Passenger souls. But I just sit there and I'm like, I'm not for suicide. I help. I want to help any way you can, but I'm also
But I mean,
like,
if you're gonna do a suicide,
do it alone.
just kill yourself.
not 200
Don't
plus
take
lives
down a whole bunch of people that are innocent with you.
that haven't done anything to you.
Correct.
Like that's the hard part to wrap my head around of like, you could have just done this alone and it would have been over. And now you've ruined, you've impacted
How many
thousands.
families? How many lives? Yeah, everything.
Friends, family, coworkers. You've now impacted thousands of people. It's sad.
In the negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So that's the first theory.
Okay.
The second theory states that the plane could have been hidden away and then reintroduced as flight MH17 later that same year in order to be shot down over Ukraine for political purposes.
Oh, I don't like that theory. I think I like theory one better. So they're saying they landed it elsewhere
Correct.
and then killed these people, I would assume.
I mean, if it was landed somewhere else, you don't want these people talking. So, I
Yeah,
mean, unless
so-
they're living another life on wherever they landed.
Which is, if they're living a life, it's not going to be a good one.
Correct.
So, okay, they're saying it landed, and what was it, years later?
We'll get into it.
Oh, I didn't know if you had said like years later, then they reintroduced
It's
it as
2014.
they
is when this
reintroduced it as
happens.
like a new plane,
Correct.
and it was okay. I do remember that coming up when that plane was shot
So this
down.
was flight MH17, and it was later that same year.
Okay. My only thing with that is, and you might talk about it, this plane gets shot down. Didn't they talk about the families that were impacted by the people that were on that flight? That'd be
I don't know.
I'm wondering
I didn't
that.
look into that.
because like okay, maybe you're not gonna fly a passenger jet with no one on it, so there would have been families on it.
Correct.
So you would assume that like they'd be like, oh, I mean, the theory's interesting, but it makes me think, what about the families that were supposed to be on it? Were those families not impacted? Do we not release that flight log? Like,
Families would be impacted either way.
no, I know. I'm just saying, did they release a flight log of these were the families that this plane was shot down? These were the families. But my thing is, they landed this plane. There would have been no families on it.
Well, they would have loaded new people on it.
Like at a different airport.
Correct. Because they would have
Oh,
landed it somewhere,
okay.
either killed everybody, got rid of them, had them live a life wherever they landed it, and then they would have moved this plane, reintroduced it as, oh, this is the new Boeing 777. He's
Not-
going and doing this flight over Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. They
Not
put
how I
new people on it,
interpret.
they fly them over, they shoot them down.
Not how I interpreted. Literally, I'm picturing this landing in like a fucking desert.
No.
And that they're just taking it off on a desert runway.
No,
And I'm
no.
like, these families would know that,
No.
okay, so they took this plane
Totally
to
new
an
people.
airport
Correct.
and killed a whole second group of people.
Correct.
I think I like the first theory better because now we're killing another 200 some people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Okay, sorry. Long roundabout way of that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
All right, so they reintroduce it as this one, and they shoot it down for political purposes in Ukraine.
Okay.
After photographs were taken of the downed MH17 plane,
Mm-hmm.
there were many people stepping out to note the similarities between Flight 370 and Flight MH17.
Oh, shit.
Both planes were Boeing 777s
Okay.
and had many structural similarities.
Okay.
So by saving Flight 370 and using it later as a political event, the Malaysian government only needed to destroy one expensive plane instead of two.
I feel like this is a more logical theory.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists believe that Flight 370 was landed and hidden, the location of which is really unknown if this happened, and then reintroduced 4 months later on July 17, 2014 as Malaysian Airlines Flight 15 or Flight 17, and then Flight 17 was shot down as it was flying over Ukraine.
Did this second flight, did it take off out of Malaysia?
Yes.
I'm never fucking going to Malaysia. Ever.
Well, their airport is so dope, man.
I don't care. This is horrible.
Just don't fly in Malaysian Airlines.
Good Lord. Okay, so the supposed plane that got lost, but
Mhm.
landed.
Yep.
Took off again from the same airport and was
Correct. And
shot
it was
down in
flying
Ukraine.
over Ukraine and it got shot down.
This is fucked up. And if this is the Malaysian government, they are the worst fucking government in the world.
But I'm like, why would they shoot it down over Ukraine?
Well, that Ukraine. Oh, war wasn't happening there yet.
2014. I mean, it might have been the start of it, but
Well, the start
there's
of,
always been animosity over there
I suppose.
between Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
So that's theory 2.
Why can't we just live happy? Why can't we all be kind and love one another and mind our own fucking business?
Because this is a world where people are greedy and selfish and they want their own lives to be the best, and
Butt our noses out of everyone.
money runs the world, Taylor.
Good God.
So that's theory number 2.
These theories are just depressing.
Yeah. The
Mm.
last one doesn't get much better. So
'Kay.
mentally prepare yourself. The last theory was presented by Norman Davies, a historian who thinks that hackers remotely took over the Boeing Honeywell uninterruptible autopilot, supposedly installed on board.
I knew that one was coming because I remember hearing about hackers because they can, like you said, tune in and kind of take over, which is even worse.
So having this Honeywell uninterruptible autopilot, it was
Yeah.
one of their newer systems,
Okay.
and they had it installed on this Boeing, or
Okay.
supposedly they had it installed on this Boeing.
Yeah.
They believe that they were remotely piloting the aircraft to Antarctica. They thought they were
fuck?
trying to get the aircraft to land in Antarctica.
For any certain reason? Any purpose?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out. I don't remember what I wrote.
Oh,
It's been a while.
I didn't know if you actually had a
I
theory
have
for
no
it.
fucking clue if it's in
Okay.
here or not. I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, people go to Antarctica. Like,
It's becoming kind of a popular place, but
Yeah.
that's because global warming is killing it. So you might as well go enjoy it while it's there.
it's so sad.
Eventually, the world's going to be underwater and we're all going to die. So mentally prepare yourself, everybody.
I mean, I think we're
The future's grim.
a while away, but it is very grim. It's very sad. It's not looking
That's
great.
because we're, as humans, killing the earth.
Every day.
We're a parasite to the world.
It's so wrong.
Yeah.
This episode, we should put a
this is-
trigger warning at the beginning because this is just depressing.
It's mentally grim, everybody. You're not going to be coming out of this feeling very peppy about the world.
It's just sad. It just shows how messed up the world is.
The theory was later brought up by several high-ranking news outlets like ABC News and the Los Angeles Times. It was believed that hackers took the plane to a remote island, yet as of now, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack. Researchers have identified more than 600 possible runways that the plane was capable of landing on following the plane's last noted flight path.
600.
600 possible downstrips that they could have landed on.
I think me and you should go to every single one of them.
I don't think so.
Let's investigate.
I think I might get killed if I...
Conspiracy goes on the road.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll get those like little travel mics and clip them to our shirt.
All right, guys, we're out in the Amazon rainforest.
You can do it in that accent. I'll walk away because you'll probably get killed.
We're here with some Australians and they're helping us out.
Oh my God.
It'd be an experience, but I'd be terrified for my life, and
No
I think
in
I'd die.
I would never make it.
Mm-mm.
First airstrip,
You'd
and
see
I'd
a
be like,
spider. You'd see a spider, and you'd be gone.
Yeah,
You'd be
running.
like, save yourself.
Yeah, not about it.
Investigators talked with Hugo Tesso, who was a Spanish cybersecurity expert and commercial pilot.
Oh, both.
Yep.
Okay.
And he shared how a cyber attack could be very possible. He demonstrated it using with his smartphone app that he developed called Planesploit.
Shit.
Yep.
Is that easy?
Where he was able to overtake a plane and the communication systems aboard and direct it into whichever direction he liked.
Okay, my question with this, because I would guess I wouldn't know. Let's say this guy takes over my airplane.
Mhm.
Can I go manual or can I not shut it off because he's taking control?
That I don't know.
I'm wondering because like
You might be able to go manual,
how
but
the
then you
one-
have to know how to go manual.
And
And,
not all
is your flight path
pilots-
gone? Is it still there because he took over
Oh.
that? Does he still have control of the
yeah,
viewing screens and everything? I have no clue.
yeah, there's a lot of pieces there.
I mean, because he was the creator of this app, Planesploit, because he was trying to show them, like, it can be done and this is how it can be done.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Why are we stop creating this technology? Stop moving forward. Let's go backwards.
Let's go back to 1920.
Put our aprons on and make some sourdough, and I'll go thatch some grass outside. Like, let's be done. I like horses. I could ride a horse.
You would never thatch grass.
I'd watch
You'd be
you
like, my
thatch.
arms are sore.
I would watch you though, and I would be like, "You're doing great." Meanwhile, I'll soak our wash in the wash tub.
We'd have to be like eating a stalk of lettuce because we wouldn't have Cheetos.
What are you trying to say, Sammy?
We love Cheetos here.
Cheetos are delicious, but my God, I think we need to stop. Technology's great, but we are going a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those robots at the football games?
Oh, they're scary, man.
They look better than I do.
And, like, if they were wearing, like, a hat or something to cover the
The
mechanisms behind their head, you would have no clue it's a robot.
No, and, like,
Unless you,
some
like,
of them
tried to talk to it because it wouldn't respond to you, but
Yeah.
in terms of, like, facial expressions and
Yes.
interactions, like, they look just like
It's
a human. It is
scary.
so creepy.
I hate when they, like I think it only ever happened at the Chargers games out in Cali, but, like, they'd bring them out, and I'm like, "Put them away."
Like, I am
Lock them up.
traumatized.
Like, I'm gonna donkey kick that thing in the face.
When we first started talking about this, I shit you not, I thought I saw one walking in your area, but I know for a fact. So we're sitting in like a dark basement, and behind Taylor, there's like a space that's really, really dark. And I swear to God, I could have sworn like one walking past, and I almost shit myself.
Oh my God, it is dark. Do you want me to turn that light on?
No, it's okay. We're almost done.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm cool. It's
Okay.
all good. So, hold on, I gotta find my spot again.
I don't even remember what we were talking. Oh, robots at football games, but that's not what you were talking about.
Okay, so this guy invented this Planespoid app, and he kind of showed how it could take over a whole system.
Okay.
The newer versions of the Boeing 777 are becoming more and more reliant on technology that's not on board the aircraft.
Say it one more
So-
time. Sorry.
So these new Boeing 777s,
Yes.
the planes themselves are becoming more and more reliant
Oh,
on
okay.
technology that's not physically on board.
Gotcha. I was zoning out, so I didn't catch it the first time.
So the possibility of a potential cyber attack is going to be much more feasible than we really think.
That's terrifying because I enjoy travel a lot.
I know, I love flying.
I take great joy in it. This is another reason I need to become a pilot so I can just fly my fucking self. And I'll do it in a prop plane so they can't take over my technology.
Yeah, well, you're going to kill the world with a plane.
Well,
you know how
so-
many carbon emissions come out of that?
A shit ton. But I want to live. I want to live and not get on a plane where
Do you
it's
want your
like,
children to live?
yeah,
Because
they're going to be in my
eventually
prop plane.
you might as well throw them overboard because they're about to die because of air pollution.
I know.
Okay.
Make a plane that runs on water.
Make a plane that runs on air.
Salt water.
Here we go.
We'll just take the ocean animals.
Hope we live near the ocean. So, I mean, with this being feasible, it makes it really possible that Flight 370 is currently hidden somewhere in Antarctica for some unknown reason.
I don't like that. I don't
Because
like
it's a
that at all.
possibility that it could have landed there and been autopiloted from somebody else and put there for who knows what purpose, but it could be chilling there.
You know, they are starting to offer cruises to Antarctica for about $6
If you
grand.
see a big ass Boeing 777 with Malaysian Airlines on the side, you know that's Flight 370.
Give us a call. We'll fly down.
We'll confirm that it is truth.
It'll
So-
no longer be conspiracy.
What is the real reason behind the disappearance of Malaysian Flight 370?
Sammy.
A possible pilot murder suicide? The reintroduction of Flight 370 as the new flight MH17? Or remote hackers?
You said that beautifully, but you've forgotten the most major theory of all. Alien abduction.
Dun dun dun! I feel like aliens come into every single one.
Yeah, I feel like aliens are literally every conspiracy known to man.
I mean, I guess you could always throw in, did aliens abduct them? But, you know, that wasn't something I really thought of.
Honestly, I feel like all of them, very strong possibilities. I would like...
I feel like the reintroduction of Flight 370 as that new flight MH17 is a really possible thing.
I feel like it's possible, but I also feel like it could be really hard to just fucking bring this plane back. And like...
And I really don't feel like they would kill 2 full sets of people on the plane.
Then again, bad people do bad things.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like theory 2, I just, for my own well-being, want to think that they didn't kill 500 people. So,
Probably more than 500.
what was it? 234?
229, I think.
229. Well, we'll say 230. That would have put you at 560. Or, sorry, 460.
239.
239. So 240. That would have put you at 480.
Look at your quick math.
487 to be exact. But
You're amazing.
I know I work at it. But okay, 500 people. I would like to think that they didn't kill 2 groups. But I also don't want to think that this pilot shut this thing off, flew it manly, and nosedived it into the ocean. And I also don't want to think about the fact that, okay, you landed it in Antarctica. All those people are gone. You killed them. Why would you keep them alive? What purpose?
Yeah, just let them walk outside. They'll freeze to death, man.
Yeah, polar bear. We're feeding the polar bear. Sammy, we're saving the Earth.
Yeah, with human lives.
Yeah, I don't know which one's most realistic. Honestly, I kind of feel like maybe this pilot had some mental health issues.
I mean, I guess it's a possibility.
And I could see number 1 being very logical. I feel like number 2 would be tricky because you got to get this plane back then.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you took it down somewhere and, like, you just don't disassemble an entire plane, rebuild it where you want. Like,
Especially only 9 months later.
yeah.
When the families are still, like, looking.
Yes. Like, and looking huge. And I didn't realize for so many years.
3.
So, like, I feel like number 2 is hard. And, like,
And then the last one with remote hackers, with it becoming so much easier to commandeer a plane.
my only thing with that one is, why Antarctica? Like,
Exactly, especially
what?
because there hasn't been anything
Yeah.
coming from Antarctica of like, oh, a flight land, and mind you, like,
yeah, and there's science down, like, shit's happening down there.
but it's a really big continent.
It is. It's
to
huge. But
have
I'm also like,
a white plane hidden in the abyss of the white
yeah.
Antarctica.
But my thing is, what's the purpose?
Yeah,
Because, like,
unless they're
there's
planning something for later, I don't know.
there's got to be a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. But I feel like right now, option 1 is looking the most possible.
Maybe they're building a bunker and they needed the airplane parts
Okay, I can tell you, I ain't building no bunker in Antarctica.
for the apocalypse that's upon us.
It's coming, but I'm gonna build it in a little bit warmer climate.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna survive better
That'd be
there.
a lot of digging and it'd probably be frozen ground.
Yeah, and like polar bears are a thing, and
You
that's
just
terrifying.
kill the polar bear and eat them.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen polar bears?
You have unlimited water.
I'm
You're
not a
sitting
fast
on
runner.
ice.
Yeah, let me lick that so I can get some water.
You'd have to boil it though, and can you imagine how cold it would be? It
Ugh.
would take forever. I'd be like, I'm dehydrated.
I always love when the people on TikTok, they're like scientists down there, and they're like, "This is a day in Antarctica," and they open the door, and the
It
door
looks
like
horrible.
blows almost off the hinges.
It
and
looks
I'm like,
absolutely horrible. It does not look like the life for me.
no.
I like sun and heat too much.
Would I love to say I've visited that continent? Yeah,
I could care less if I say
but
I
I'm like,
visited it.
I don't think I need that.
I'll look at a
It's
picture and be
expensive.
like, hey, it's Antarctica. Awesome.
Yeah,
Win
and, like,
win.
it's expensive right now because it's
It's
getting popular.
It's a trend.
Yeah, it'll die down in a few years. Then they'll bring the plane back out.
Who's flying home? All the people are still on it.
Oh God, that would rot of dead corpse.
No, we're talking alive. They're coming back. and they're-
Okay, come on.
It's like the Bermuda.
God, it's like that TV show on Netflix, Manifest.
I know. I saw a
Fucked
TikTok of
up.
that of like the ending part of it. They must have been on the plane for like ever or something, or
Well,
they live somewhere else. I don't know how the whole show went,
I
but
watched season 1 and then I mentally just couldn't get into it. And from what I found in season 1, and I think honestly the rest of the seasons were literally just the fucking same, but I digress. They went on this flight and it was like a sister and a brother, and the brother had a son, and they were on this flight, and the brother, his wife was already back home in like Pennsylvania, and they were staying on the vacation a little bit longer, and they ended up coming back, and like the plane left the radar. And all of a sudden, like in their head, it's a normal flight length. So if the flight was 2 hours, they're on this plane for 2 hours. They land, I think it was Pennsylvania. It's 10 years later.
oh my God.
All these families are out on the runway sobbing, going, "Where have you been?" No one on the plane has aged. Everyone is the same. And these people are like, "What the hell is your issue? It was a 2-hour flight. Like nothing happened." But like when they were on the flight, there was a lightning storm. So like I think eventually in the other seasons, if I would have kept watching that,
They probably like explained it
there would
more.
have been answers. But like all these families show up on the tarmac and they're like, "You're here. Like you're actually alive." And it's like years later.
And they probably all aged.
And then I just remember like in season 1, and I think this was part of the reason I stopped watching, is like he had other kids that had grown up, and his wife married someone else because it had been 10 years.
Yeah.
And like
That's a long time.
his daughter grew up with someone else that played dad to her, and like he was just having such a hard time because he goes, "You're my wife. Like I was only gone 2 hours," and she goes, "You were gone 10 years." And now his daughter's older and he missed her whole life, and like it was so sad.
Yeah, it sounds like
And it was depressing, and like this episode kind of made me think of that, like is it gonna reappear in 10 years, just like fucking fly out of whatever the hell's going on?
Well, this year.
I
Are we
don't
at
know.
March 14th yet?
It
March
was-
15th. It would have arrived yesterday.
Yeah, maybe 10 more, 20 years.
There we go.
I don't know,
Oh,
but
God,
it
man.
made me think of that, and I'm like, it's scary. I just felt bad.
I wouldn't want to live it.
It's not a show that I could get into. If you can, they say it's phenomenal, but I'm like, it was sad.
Well,
It's
I think
scary.
they have 3 seasons.
Well, initially they got like 2, and then they got canceled. It was like such an uproar. They're like, "Fine, we'll do one more season to close it out." So
Well,
they brought it
apparently
back.
they ended it like really, really nicely and wrapped
Oh,
like a
good.
nice little bow on it at the end.
Yeah.
Of, like every question was answered.
Okay, I mean, maybe I'll have to go back to it eventually. I just felt bad because these people came back and like
I
all
mean,
their significant
it
others.
was sad though.
Was it?
Because I just saw the ending of like this was the last clip of this show, and it was like, oh God, that was horrible. I mean, it was happy, but it was sad.
Yeah, it was just I just felt bad because they all got back and it was like, we moved on, we're married, we're dating other people. I had a kid with another person. I'm like, oh my
I
God.
mean, but 10 years is a long time to be gone for. So
Oh,
like,
I
I get
know.
it, but still, as the person of like, I was only gone 2 hours. It was a long, long time.
Yeah, and they've accepted your fate. You died.
Yep.
So, well, I'll let you wrap this up.
All right, people. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast, leave a like and a review, like us on Facebook and Instagram at Conspiracy Podcast 1, and remember to tune in for next week's episode, which will be posted on Wednesday. Bye, guys.
See ya.